Assalamu alaikum. My name is Akif. I welcome you all in this online tutorial for Islamic geometry and square Kufic Arabic calligraphy. First of all, I would like to thank Emirates Association for Social Development for giving me an opportunity in order to conduct an online tutorial for Islamic geometry and square Kufic Arabic calligraphy. Moving on, this class is divided into two sections. The first section we will be learning about Islamic geometry, and the second. The first thing is, in geometry we have several patterns. We have circle, we have square, we have triangle, rectangle, and many more shapes. But dealing with this kind of a model, the first thing. So this is the way you draw a circle using any radius, may it be 6 centimeter, 10 centimeter or 12 centimeter. It is as per your views and perception. You can choose any size of the circle. Moving on, what we will do is draw a line which will pass through the origin. Remember, origin is the center of the circle. So what I will do is, I will place my ruler at this position, exactly vertical, and I will draw a line. So as you can see that the circle is divided into two halves. The first section, the second section. Moving on, I will draw another line which will pass through the origin, and that line will be horizontal. Now, in order to calculate whether these lines are exactly straight and perfect, what you have to do is you have to place a protractor and measure whether is this exactly 90 degree. Remember that straight line is always 90 degree. There are two types of lines. One is parallel line, which goes hand in hand but never meets. And another one is these lines where the angle between the two lines will be 90 degree. So we are done over here, and now we are moving to another section where I will draw another circle, placing needle at one of the end. Make sure the pen is exactly hitting the origin, and you are passing a curve somewhat like this. So this is the way how you draw, where you place your needle at this point and the pen at this point, and you draw a curve. The next curve you will draw by keeping your needle at this point, and this will be your radius, and you will draw another curve which will pass through this. Now, as you can see, I draw and then two more curves. So moving on, I will keep my needle at this point and draw another curve like this. And then you keep your needle at this point, the nip at this origin, and you draw another curve like this. So you have one circle Upon that you have two lines and then four more circles. These points are called intersection points. An intersection is something where the two lines come across each other, making some angle, and when it cuts each other, it forms an intersection. So you have total 8 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have total 8 points. And what I will be doing is take a scale, pass a line from this point, make sure it hits the origin and come out from the another point. From this point to the origin to the third point. Moving on, you will draw another line which will pass through this point, origin, and the third point. So it's like you are just making an X at this particular area. So what you do is next, take a ruler and exactly passes from the point A, origin, and the end point. Moving on, place your ruler different, the same operation, point A, origin, point B. So now what you do is, we have finished the stage 1. I draw a circle, horizontal line, 1 circle, 2 circle, 3 circle, and 4th circle, and then 2 lines which crosses each other. Moving on, now we will draw squares. This is your starting point, point B, point C, and point D. So you keep your ruler at this particular point, point A and point B, and you draw a line. After finishing this line, move on to the next. Draw a line which starts from this point and end at this point. So as you can see, I have drawn a circle, 4 circle, horizontal and vertical line, 2 axes, and the square which starts from this point, stops, and then continues to this point, back to the origin. So your square started from this section, stopped over here, stopped over here, and then went back to the origin. So your next square will be from this point. So what you do is, you have to calculate the region. This is the first region, second and third. So you will be starting your line from this region and stop at this point. Okay? So starting from this point and then 3 region, you again stop. So you continue, and again you have to cover 3 regions, and then same operation one more time. We'll start from this point, we'll end at this particular point. And then 4 circles, then 2 lines, and then cross, and then 2 squares. But there is one more set of square, the third square, which will start from this point. 1, 2, 3. One, two, three. Then 1, 2, 3, and then finally 1, 2, 3. So you have a circle, 4 more circles, 2 lines, 2 cross, and then what I've done is I've drawn 3 set of square. The first set started from this point and C, point D. The second square started from this region, stopped at this point, came back at this point, then point D, and went back to the origin. The third square started from this section to this section, coming back to this section, point D and origin. So by this you have finished the stage 2. The stage 3 comes. Can you see this point at this X? Let me zoom it for you so you can clearly see those intersection points. So these are the points I'm talking about. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11, 12. So there are 12 intersection points. What you have to do is opposite point. What you do is you pass a line which will start from this point, origin, and the opposite point. So I started my line from here, origin, and came out from the opposite point. Do not be confused. As I have said earlier, there are 12 intersection points, an opposite point. So moving on, what I do is I will draw lines. As you can see, I have already drawn, which will start from this point, origin, and comes out from another point. So what I do is I will draw another line from this point, origin, and the point C. So I started from this point, origin, and came out from the second point. So let me mark it for you. 1, 1, then 2, and then 2. So there is one more line which will pass from this point, origin, and the point C. As you can see, This is point number 3, line number 3. Second line and the third line. The fourth line is already been drawn. So this is your fourth line. So this is your fifth line, 5, 5. Then moving on to the sixth line, which will start from the third point. This becomes your sixth line. The seventh line shall be at this point. So as you can see, I have drawn these number of lines which is passing through their opposite points. As you can see, as this X mark intersection point came to the origin and gone out. The point number 2, the line start from this point, origin and then out. Then this point, origin and then out. And this is your third line. And then fourth line, which is already over there. The fifth line start from this point, origin and comes out. Sixth line comes out, and then seventh from this point, origin and then comes out. So as you can see, there are 12 set of lines. If I calculate 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. So there are 12 set of lines which are crossing from one point to another. Do a quick revision. So first we drew a circle, and then we have drawn 4 more circles. And horizontal lines, and then we have drawn 3 squares. Upon that we have drawn 12 set of lines. So moving on, what we have to do is I will draw another circle. Let me zoom the section. So whenever you draw Islamic geometry, be as neat as possible. Do not make things look dirty, because in the end many lines are going to get erased. So when you try to erase, it should not look dirty or it should not look pathetic. So whenever you draw something, draw with a pencil, and when the lines are remained, the remaining few lines, you have to darken with the pen. So as I was saying, we have to draw one more circle, an inner circle. You will place your needle in the origin, and then you will draw a circle which will be inside. As you can see, I have drawn a circle inside. If you see things clearly without any confusion, you can see So what I'm gonna do is, if you can see these things clearly, remove the pen from the compass and then can you see these points? 1, 2, then 1 and 2. Can you see this 1, 2 and 1, 2? What I'm gonna do is, I will take this ruler again. I will try to pass a line from this. So there is one parallel line to the line of origin. If you see, there is a distance of between the two lines. So this is your parallel to this line. So what I'm going to do is, I will draw another line which will pass from this point to this point. Center line. So remember that the distances must be equal and as accurate as possible. So what I'm going to do is, if you see these 2 points between 3 and 5 and 8 and 6, if you come a little closer, there is an inner circle. You have to mark those points. Please do not make this error where you try to pass lines from this section. No, that will be a big wrong thing and it will be an error. So start your line from these 2 points, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this case it is 3rd and 5th, 6th and 8th. What I'm going to do is, I will try to pass a line which similarly, you can see that this is your center line and this is your distance. So you're drawing one set of parallel line to the center line. What I will be doing is, I will draw another line which will pass. So you have done with the center 2 lines with the parallel line and these 2 lines with the middle parallel line. You can take as much as time possible in order to understand this model. And to mention the things very clearly, I would like to revise that we have drawn a circle. We draw 4 circles and then we have drawn 3 set of squares and then 12 intersection lines. Remember this rule, you have drawn 1 circle, then square and then 12 set of lines. So what I'm going to do is, I'll continue 1 step ahead and 2 step ahead. I will move clockwise. At this point, I will move 1 step backward and 2 step backward. So as you can see, in this section, I will pass a line from this point to this point and this point to this point. So this covers your first region and this will cover your second region. I will mark it for you guys. First region and this is your second region. Moving on, I will move 1 step forward, 2 step forward, there is another line, 1 step backward and 2 step backward. So what I'm going to do is, I will draw 2 points and another line. So this will be my third region. So as you can see clearly that these, the second set of parallel line, the third set of parallel line, and the fourth set of parallel line. Things are not difficult here. So the stage 5, where you come across this point one step ahead, two steps backward, you will draw another line. Fifth region. The last set of parallel lines will come at this 2 points and this 2 points. So what are the set of lines from here and here? Please do not get confused. I'm going to repeat this once again. What I've done is when I've drawn the 12th set of parallel line, I started drawing an inner circle. After finishing that inner circle, what I've seen is I will draw a line, parallel set of lines, where these intersection lines meet. So one section of parallel line, two, then third, then fourth, then fifth, and then finally the sixth region. So you have 1, 5, and 6 regions somewhat like this, and you can notice a star in the center. Take a pen. In my case, I'm going to take black marker, because in the end you have to erase whatever pencil thing. So I'll take a black marker. What I'm going to do is I will keep few lines and rest I will try to erase. But in this case I cannot erase, that's why. So can you see a small section of V which I have left abandoned? Start from this point, come till this region, start again and stop. The first set of square will start from here. Remember that. Moving on, you will take another set of square at this point, and then another set of line at this point, and then you have these set of lines. So moving on, you have another, and then another set of line at this point, and then you have these set of lines. So moving on, you have another, and then you have another set of lines. So moving on, you have another, and then 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 you have another which is this. And then another line at this point, and then you have these set of lines. So moving on, you have another which is this. And then another, when it starts from this point till the V. You can check the PDF, it will be on my Instagram. Okay. So as you can see, I started turning this model and I started darkening it. So what I will do now is, can you see this small square? 1, 2, 3, 4. I will start from this region. I will come down and I will stop. Start, stop. So I will start from this point, come back to this point, start, and then stop. Moving on, I will start, stop, start, stop, the same point, start and stop, start and stop. So again, when you go down, you have to start with this model and then you stop. So as you can see, I have made a plus sign, which I have started darkening it. Moving on, I will draw another plus sign which will stop at this point. And then another which will come through this point and stop, start, stop, start, stop, and then finally you have your model ready. Export 2020 model, export 2020 logo. As you can see, we are done. Tutorial. So moving on, now we are discussing about square, Kufic, Arabic, calligraphy. Now what is square, Kufic, Arabic, calligraphy? So this is your platform. You have 16 boxes of equal dimension and you have one name, that is Ahmed. So you have one name which have 4 letters and Meme and Dal. And you have to fill these 4 letters into 16 boxes. And how you do it? From this region, shading. So if I cover this region with this red ink and I color this part, so this became my alif. So this is my alif. There are 2 types of line. This one is thick line and this is thin line. Thin line is used to differentiate the letters. You cannot come inside this line to draw your letter. So this is your alif and your ha starts from, you have this space to cover. So your ha starts from this particular region. And this is your ah. Alif, ha, and that becomes your ah. And then you have to draw dal. So what you do is, you come up till this region and leave this small box inside, and this becomes your Ahmed. Ahm. Now dal just go down and then straight, cover the region. So this becomes your name Ahmed in one box. So this is Calligraphy calligraphy. So remember that there are few rules that you need to consider, that is filling up the space. You have to fill the space. That is very much important. Second thing, do not enter this region. This region is only meant to differentiate the letters. So this is one rule, covering up the region and then filling up the space. And the third is about the dots. You cannot miss those dots. You have to use it. But annotations just like this, zabar, zir, pesh, these you can miss and that's okay. So here I conclude this workshop. I hope you enjoy it. This was my first attempt in online training and hope to see you guys again inshallah. And once again, huge round of applause I must say, and they deserve a lot more respect, and I'm really grateful for Emirates Association for Social Development for giving me an opportunity to conduct this online tutorial regarding Arabic square calligraphy and Islamic geometry. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair.